Hey guys, what's up? This is Matt here from Mattybo 2 Productions, and today I'm just going to show you a few things about um, settings on Microsoft Flight Simulator X. I'm going to start off by showing you guys what I'm running on my system. I have a quad-core processor, which helps me out a lot, gives me good frames, and I do have DirectX 11 on my system, but that doesn't even run with Flight Simulator X, so don't worry about that. Um, and I have a 32-bit system. My gaming device is the NVIDIA GeForce 9600 GS, and that runs really smooth, so it helps me a lot in Flight Simulator. Um, and these are all my add-ons for Flight Simulator. As you can see, I have Real Environment Extreme, um, Captain Sim 757 and 767, PMDG 737 NGX. I have a few Fly Tampa sceneries, a couple FS Dream Team sceneries, and a few ORBX sceneries. Um, I have a couple of McFat Studios repaints for the 737 and 757, and I do have the VRS F-18 Super Hornet. But now I'm going to move on and show you guys my settings in Flight Simulator and how I get the frames that I do. So once this opens up, I'll run you guys through it all and show you how to do everything. Okay, so here we are. Um, we're gonna go to the customize page, and we'll start off here at the graphics section. Um, this is my gaming device. I told you guys earlier. You know, it all depends on what you have. Um, but target frame rate. A lot of people think that if you put it up here really high or an unlimited, your flight simulator is gonna run really smooth, but actually it doesn't. It makes it worse. It just jumps around a lot. So I keep mine around 30, even though Flight Simulator doesn't really get up there for me. Um, it's usually around 25. Um, so set it somewhere down here low, and you should get somewhere around there. Um, Full screen resolution, this depends entirely on your computer and your monitor. This is what I'm running on currently, so it's all up to you guys. Filtering, I keep it on trilinear. Bilinear, I don't really think it has a big difference, but anisotropic does slow it down a little bit for me. So I keep it on trilinear, and I always have anti-aliasing checked because it makes Flight Simulator look really nice. But if you're going more for frames, I guess you can uncheck that. Um, Up here at global options, global texture resolution, I have on a very high for when I'm making videos, but um, you know, sometimes I'll drop it down to high. It all depends on your system. If you don't have a really nice computer, then you might want to run it on medium, and a mediocre system maybe on high. And if you have a really good system, you could put it on very high. But never really drop it down to low or very low, because that looks really bad. Never check DirectX 10 preview. That really looks kind of stupid and it takes off a lot of frames, so I never run that. Lens flare and light bloom. You know, it all depends on what you're going for. When I'm making videos, I'll have those checked, but otherwise I'll keep it unchecked because it does have a big effect on your frames. Advanced animations, always have that checked because those are kind of cool. It makes Flight Simulator look nice. Um, so we'll go over to aircraft now. These cockpit settings, you know, all this depends um, on you know, if you're a cockpit person or not. I don't normally fly in a cockpit, so I don't have this checked, but you know, if you do, you're gonna want to have the 3D virtual cockpit and the high resolution 3D virtual cockpit checked. Um, Over to exterior settings, always have the aircraft cast shadow on the ground, because it kind of looks dumb without it, and it helps you out a lot when you're making landings and stuff like that. But never, ever, ever have aircraft cast shadow on itself, especially when you're making videos. That just looks really stupid, and you know, it has a pretty good effect on frames. So, aircraft landing lights illuminate the ground. This all depends on if you fly in day or night. If you're flying at night, obviously you're gonna want to have this checked. But if you're flying in the day, you don't really have to. Um, Now we'll go over to scenery. This is where a lot of people get confused because there's a lot of confusing words here, and I don't even understand some of them. But I'm gonna run you guys through on what I have to make Flight Simulator run smooth. Um, Level of detail radius, I keep it on medium. Um, it all depends on your system. Um, but that's where I keep mine. Mesh complexity, 50. That's that's pretty standard. If you don't have a very good computer, you could drop it down somewhere down here. But otherwise, you're gonna want to have it at least 50. Sometimes I'll bring it up for when I'm making videos. Mesh resolution, I keep mine at 10. Um, but if you don't have a good computer, you might want to drop it down a little bit. It all depends on what you have. Text resolution, same thing. I run on 30, but you can drop it down if you want. Water effects actually do have a very big effect on your frames. But it's not that big a deal because there's not a huge difference between these. High 1.x and low to mid 2.x. There's not a huge difference in what the water looks like, so you can run it on run it a little higher on low 2.x or mid 2.x, and it won't have that big effect on frames. And always have land detail textures checked. That looks pretty good. Scenery complexity, I have it on dense, but I'll usually move it up when I'm making videos. But dense is a pretty good place to run when you're just flying around. And once again, if you don't have a good computer, you can drop it down. But it does look kind of stupid when it's just sparse or very sparse. Auto density, same thing. I have it on normal, but I will bring it up for when I'm making videos. Never have ground scenery shadows checked. I think that looks pretty stupid, and it does have a pretty good effect on frames. Special effects detail, I'm pretty sure this is stuff like water fountains and waterfalls and stuff like that. And it all depends on where you're flying and if it has that kind of stuff. A lot of these add-on sceneries will have special effects, so you might want to bring it up or medium or something like that. Otherwise, you can bring it down if you want. Over to weather, this stuff's pretty simple. Cloud draw distance, I don't really mess with. I just leave it there. And thermal visualization, excuse me, I put that on none because I don't really fly gliders, so it doesn't matter to me. Don't really mess with the weather change or anything like that. I just change it whenever I want to. Cloud detail, simple clouds just look pretty stupid, so I don't really never ever have it on that. So I use detail clouds and have it somewhere around high to maximum, because that looks good. On the traffic, this is kind of tricky as well. People get tripped up here. I don't ever run on 100 because your airports just get too congested and it looks pretty rough. So I drop it down to 70 to 75. General aviation traffic, never have it on because I'm usually flying at big airports and you don't see much of those, so I keep that down. Airport vehicle density, you can drop these down if you want more frames. Excuse me, but I think it looks kind of cool, so I put it up at max. Road vehicles, same thing as airline traffic density. It's just gonna look really congested if you have it all the way up at 100. So I drop mine down to 70, 75. Ships and ferries. If you guys aren't flying near water or anything, it doesn't really matter to have these. You can drop them down, but it does look cool to have some boats and stuff in the water when you're flying over the ocean or in a river, something like that. Um, and aircraft labels, that's all up to you. I don't really like to see red numbers and letters and stuff over an airplane, so I take that off. Alright, that's about it, guys. I hope this has helped you out a lot. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment, and I'll try and help you out. Thanks, guys.